page Nun. The whole Maimer is based on the pasuk. Excuse me. He says to Milchama Alevecha. There is some kind of a milchama. The Nefesh Habamis presents a milchama to Nefesh Elikis. How can there be a milchama when you have a Elikos? And the answer is because the Elikos itself comes down to the point of having, of affecting bipnimi, koches pnimi.
This is a demonstration
again,
of
just
Wirecast.
To review, to have a clarity, because word pnimi is very misleading to us. The word pnimi most often means bipnimius, inside your heart, inside your truth. But here the word pnimi, koyach pnimi, means something completely different. The opposite. It's a koyach that imbues itself in the function. It becomes part of the function. It's not koyach pnimi. Like we had the example of walking.
Of Wirecast.
You can think of walking and you have the purpose of your walking, so forth. The actual walk that is executed by your feet, this is called koyach pnimi. It is defined by the function. It's reduced to the point of total functionality. This is where the milchama takes place.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
Very simple. The kid says we have to go this way. The shaman says I don't want to go.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
And the Rebbe explains. Let's start at the end of the third line from the bottom. On Kufnun. Lefi shabo bebchinas islapshus. There the Chitzonim have access because the whole oyer, the whole purpose, the whole function, the whole idea comes bebchinas islapshus, expresses itself on the islapshus, a complete imbuing, complete relating to the final
this
function.
Is a demonstration of Wirecast.
When a person walks from point to point, the walking itself is beside the point. The main thing is by him to get there and to accomplish what he's trying to accomplish, and he's got in mind only the purpose for the walk. This is in koychas makiv, on higher koychas. But in pnimi, you cannot get there by making your feet walk, move foot in front of a foot. This is the pshat that the koyach becomes lavish in the function. It is completely defined by the function. It has no higher view of what it's doing. This is why at this level it can even be duplicated by a robotic action.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
How can there be that the koyach hanefesh should be mislabish at this level? It's a koyach hanefesh. It's a living koyach. And that is affected by tzimtzum u'miyud ha'ir. The oil element
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Contracted. Contracted means it is squeezed out, squeezed into a functional level, and then it is completely reduced to the function. Mimadrega lemadrega, that does not happen automatically. Does not happen dynamically. It happens slowly, from one madrega to the next madrega. Add to the point shemadrega tachtenes, that when it reaches the lower madrigas, when it comes to the final step, let's go, like in our motion of walking. Up until that point, you're deciding, should we go, should we not go? What is the purpose? What are we intended to accomplish there? And where are we going, and so forth? There is some kind of an oil element. Until it comes to the point of, let's go.
This is a demonstration
Let's
of
go, madriga
Wirecast.
tachtenes. Mismaid ha'oil b'yoser. There the oil is reduced excessively, extremely. The halacha says that when you're walking, like Yoshua Tzaddik said to his brothers, Al tirgezu baderech. Ve'im alehem al tirgezu baderech. Which means his brothers were very upset by what they discovered,
and
they were very concerned how they're going to present it to their father. Everybody knows the episode. And they already began, in front of Yosef, they already began discussing it and accusing each other. So Yosef then sent them back home, told them what they should do and so forth. And he said, Al tirgus baderech. As you're traveling, please make sure that you travel in peace, because otherwise the path itself is going to disrupt.
Wirecast.
You're bound to fall into a pit. You can argue while you're at peace, while you're at ease, while you're in besmedrash. But baderech, you have to be completely focused on the derech. And if you lose focus, then it's liable to mislead you, and it's liable to cause all kinds of damage.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Because once you're in derech, you're bihislabshus. Bihislabshus means you're focused just on you have to be completely focused on the action itself. You cannot be thinking, we are going to our Father. If you're thinking of going to our Father and how we're going to present this thing, then the derech itself is going to be a stumbling block for you.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
This is what the Rebbe says. This is what the Chitzonim have access to, a function that originates in Nefesh Elikis. And the Chitzonim can hook on to that function itself when that function comes down to the point of hislapshus. And it's inevitable that you come down to hislapshus. If you want to accomplish, if Yosef's brothers want to ultimately get to their father, they have to put foot on the ground and walk and go there.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
No decision is going to replace that final action. And being that it's more between hislapshus, Shezehu al detimtum umiyah ho'er. Mi'adrega madrega is a reduction of oil. Reduction of oil means there's a loss of purpose, loss of meaning what you're doing. You're under the jurisdiction of your feet.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Add to the point that in the lowest madrigas, mismaid ha'oil b'yoser, the oil is reduced extremely. When you're climbing a mountain, for example, or any path, you cannot have in mind what you're trying to accomplish.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
You have to be focused exclusively on the action of this step. Ve'al kain, and therefore, There, the rear could be achizo, could be an opening for the chitzonim to step in. And what are the chitzonim claiming when they step in?
This is a
The chitzonim
demonstration
claiming
of
that there is
Wirecast.
no oil. There is no oil. You're going to work because you want to have money to build your castle. You're not going to work in order to be able to give tzedakah or even support your family. It can reduce itself to the lowest levels.
Is it true that
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
even though the path is very demanding, the trick is to remain attached above, right? Even though the brothers got that advice of don't get distracted because the path will eat you up. But the point is that you have to be distracted. You have to hold yourself above, otherwise it's all for fun.
Well, excuse me, thank you very much. This is the meaning that we are trying to identify. The truth is,
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
please understand the following. This is where the cat is buried. Yes, you are entirely on a functional level. You're walking on ground. Who does this ground belong to? Where does the ground come from? This simple ground, where does it come from?
Right, and so that's remaining
This
attached
is a
above, correct?
demonstration
It's not
of
attachable.
Wirecast.
It remains, no, it's not attachable. It's ground. If it's attachable, you can't walk on it. It is ground, but it has an owner at its level of ground.
And that's the Eitzah, that's the derech.
That is the Mechama.
Uh,
Nefesh Abami says, this is my ground. The Meshulki says, no, it's not your ground.
and the Chassid was going down or up the slippery slope.
Say again?
The Chassid was going
This
up
is
or
a
down the icy
demonstration of
slope, or
Wirecast.
going to the mikveh or the river or something. And he said, I'm
Yeah,
attached.
Rebbe
I'm attached.
Mishaner.
Right, he said, I'm attached above. That's. I don't fall below.
That was Reb Meir Alpenstander, when he was going up and down, he was going to mikveh. But if he were going on a mission of pidyon shvuyim, then we'd have to get involved with the situation completely.
This is a demonstration
You know
of
what Pidyon Shvuyim is?
Wirecast.
Okay, yeah.
It was a Ruchnizi mission to begin with.
Okay.
But even when a guy is focused on his step by step, climbing a mountain, still he's inspired to reach the summit of the mountain. The makiv is still there in the background.
The Makiv is there in the background, but behelam, completely behelam.
This is a
said
demonstration
many
of
times,
Wirecast.
The truth is, he cannot take one single step without there being some kind of a Makiv kohen. The Pnimi is completely dependent on the Makiv. I want to mention something that I mentioned yesterday by Fabrengen, something that struck me with such power.
This is a demonstration of
We're learning now in
Wirecast.
Halacha, Hilchos Nizik, in Hezek, Nizik in the Rambam. And as you're learning this, there are halacha that always baffled me, and then finally it dawned on me what's going on. Like the simple illustration of this is a person digs a ditch in the middle of a Rishus HaRabbi, and he covers it. He puts a plywood
is a
covering
demonstration of
strong enough
Wirecast.
for a horse to go through, and he covers it. He is then absolved from any responsibility of any damages that this ditch caused because he covered it. The pasuk says, Kicher is beir v'lo yechasenu. As long as the Torah says v'lo yechasenu, if he didn't cover it, but if he covered it, he is out. Over the years, over the time, this covering absorption, moisture, and so forth begins to rot. But the rotting can occur on the inside. You can't see it externally. And externally, it's a perfect board. Then finally, the rotting weakens the board, and the horse goes through, and it falls down, falls in. What would be the halach? Is he responsible for this damage or not? The answer is he's not responsible.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
You're absolutely right. I'm going to call him right now. Oh, but disconnected. Okay. So I'm going to recall. This is something which is repetitive all the time. I'm going to make the call again.
Next time I should just...
What are we going to do about this? Oh, that's right. It's completely disconnected. Okay.
How about I just call in, because your phone doesn't retain the
This is a
connection.
demonstration of
Rabbi, I'll call in.
Wirecast.
That phone doesn't stay connected.
Do it next time.
Okay, you called
both.
in. Is you a conference?
I'm going to do it, yes.
Alright. Hey, even if one of us is called in also,
Do you think
Then it'll take-
that's my phone that is your fault?
Yes.
I always said my phone is a garbage. It's a garbage.
Well, it could be
if two people
it
call
could be your
in,
phone or it could be your provider, but either way.
if
I
two
said from
people-
the day on,
This
from the
is a
beginning, that this phone is
demonstration of Wirecast.
Rabbi, if two people are called in, then if one hangs up, the other is still in.
Star. For
Yeah, no,
help, press
okay. All right.
star 9.
Okay, let's see.
Participant number 2.
Okay. All right, Baruch, we're back on in business.
I could also do it.
Thank you.
Could I free you?
All right.
So he's not responsible.
Excuse me?
You were saying he's not responsible.
The plank of wood, yeah.
Yeah. So this plank of wood,
This is a demonstration
as long
of
as
Wirecast.
on the surface it looks healthy, the fact that underneath it rotted, it does not put the responsibility on you. That's an amazing thing. You dug the ditch. You're responsible to cover it. And the responsibility should carry you, according to our logic, should carry you all the way down to the point of preventing any kind of damage. Whether you're aware of it or not aware of it. The halacha in our Torah is that no, you're not
This is a
liable.
demonstration of Wirecast.
How do we understand it? For years it bothered me, till I realized that the Torah view is that all the activity is not just in a plain neutral world. You're creating this ditch. Because there's nobody stopping you, so you're creating this ditch. No. The Rebbe created this world. And it belongs to
This is a
him. And
demonstration
he
of
gave every person in
Wirecast.
the world the liberty to use it as he wishes. Ultimately, the Rebbe is responsible for any consequence of human activity. Provided that the human being was negligent. Obviously negligent from his point of view. He sees that he is doing something that's going to create that is the cause of damage. If he does not see it, he is not responsible.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
He turns to the Rebbe and says, "Look, you give me permission to dig, you give me permission to cover. What do you want from me? It's in your court." Because all our functioning, the entire reality, even the physical reality, is always in the domain of the Meibus. It's constantly being recreated by the Meibus. And we have functioned, everything that we do within
This
these
is a demonstration
parameters.
of Wirecast.
My responsibility is limited to my responsibility, to my action, in other words, to my awareness intentionally that I know when I'm doing something wrong. If it's outside of my intent, then I'm not responsible for it. You look in Shulchan Aruch Halacha, you'll see exactly this principle.
How is this related to what we're reading here, Milchama and Pnimi and Chitzoni?
This is
How
a
does
demonstration of
this what you're
Wirecast.
saying relates to what we're learning?
That this Milchama, Zav Shel Kivs and Mashabamis, you go out, and the Rav Amis claims you're in this worldly domain. The worldly domain has an owner.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
The Milchama, the Rav Amis claims, "What are you coming here? You don't belong here." Rav Akim says, at even the lowest level, but the lowest madrege in Mitzvahs also has a owner. And this is the perspective from which I come.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
And this is where the Milchama with the Chitzonim is. The Chitzonim claims, "You're in my domain," and of course it claims, "Your domain is also belong to me." The fact that you were
This
given a
is a
domain and given right
demonstration
of
of
function,
Wirecast.
you were given right of function within the umbrella of the godly umbrella. The Rebbe gives you that right, but you cannot step out from that umbrella. Like they say in Seir, "Eir Tovis B'Cholamin, Beisman Nofi Mishusi Legav." Beisman Nofi Mishusi. There's none that can venture from his reshus outside.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
On this basis, the Rebbe Shalakis comes to Rav Amis and says, "Hold it." You have the liberty to act according to your preferences, but you are not overstep to the point where you're violating the divine purity, divine truth.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
This is the Milchama. So even though Mismaid Ho'ib B'Yoser, and the Chitzonim can come up and climb, as we discussed the other time, you are in my domain, and Rav Shulakis retorts back and says, your domain is also in the godly domain.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay, so we have the last line, the bottom line of Push Kuf Nun. Okay, towards the middle of the line. V'shom shayach milchama. In the Oipnimi, that which is representing
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
The final act to accomplish a certain task. This is where the Milchama is waged. Because over there is a tremendous production of oil. And we discussed the other day, what does oil mean? A sense that yes, indeed, there is a significance to this act. This is not an act
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
This is what the Milchama is. Okay, now let's, at the end of that line. But in the Ohem Makif itself, There cannot be any handle of the chitzonim.
This is a
The chitzonim have no
demonstration of
access, cannot
Wirecast.
claim and detract from the path of the in the oil maki, because oil maki is all constantly representing on the source where it's coming from. Oil pnimi will be hislapshus. Hislapshus means that it is completely
This is a
identified by the
demonstration of
function.
Wirecast.
Oil makiv never becomes solely hislapshus, and it is never limited to the function. It is always representative of the source where it's coming from, and that's why over there in any yochel is achizach. So the chitzonim have no main means of grasping it, of intruding there.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay. Let's see how we can make the following couple of lines.
Rabbi PALTIEL?
Yes, sir.
It's a little bit ironic, though, isn't it? Because really nothing can happen. The other Maki, the Abishter wants a him. Nothing can happen until
This is a demonstration
the
of Wirecast.
Mislavish becomes Square Panimi in Gonston. And yet there, it's vulnerable. So the Chitzenim, the Klippus.
This is why there's a milchama.
But like that, what?
This is why there's a milchama.
Yeah, but
You cannot put on tefillin on Tuesday, even though you put on tefillin on Monday. When it comes to Tuesday, you have a new fight
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
all over again. I'm jumping to tefillin. I'm start from the beginning. Start with saying Meidani. Getting up on time. Same thing.
Yep. Okay. What happened to the Armaki? The Armaki should really be able to protect us from this battle, no?
This is a
If
demonstration
at the time when
of
you're
Wirecast.
lying in bed and you recognize the time has come for me to rise, at that moment you become aware that you are in the divine service. You're not getting up because it's your time to get up.
I say if that's what you realize, you get out of bed real fast. Like
That's
in
right.
New York.
That's right.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
And Oel Makiv is Mesame Einei HaChitzonim. Mesame means it blinds the eyes of the Chitzonim, to the point where the Chitzonim do not know where to approach you.
To remain on this call, press 1.
Oh, no, we're still connected with Yona's phone. Your phone went off, but his phone is connected.
No, but
We have two phones in the conference.
This
Your phone
is a
went off.
demonstration
okay, no, I'm
of
not
Wirecast.
connected at all.
Right, Yona is still connected.
Oh, I think it just died.
Now Yona's also off. Now you're both.
Okay.
Alki and
So
Bear.
it's the service that.
I guess so.
Service.
What?
It's not the phone, it's the service that's defective.
The service is a photo.
It looks like it because now his phone got up.
That's right, his phone is faultless.
Who says they use the same service? I mean, I know they're both Apples, but
So what should we do? Should we dial here?
maybe it's.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I don't mind dialing, it's all ready. All it is a
Followed.
push.
Welcome to the... Thank you. You are now entering the conference room. To exit the conference room, press ***. For help, press *9. Participant number 1.
9.
Oh,
Huh?
Participant number 1, yeah.
This
Gotcha.
is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Butch Barach.
Oyer makir mesama in yakitzenim. Let us stop a little bit on this expression. Focusing, what does it mean, oyer makir mesama in yakitzenim? It blinds the eyes of the chitzenim. We speak about this all the time.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
That the oyer shenivro b'im rishon, the light that was created the first day, as it says in the Torah, vayem Elokim hi oyer, vahi oyer. He didn't create the sun or luminary or anything. He created oyer. This oyer is an oyer representing the divine presence. In other words, it's not an oil that represents in the worldly parameters. It takes you inside as an insider. You know things as an insider. The insider is the Rebbe created the world, and here is the reason why he created the world. And this is the vantage point from which you recognize the world. As an insider. Like I said many times, you come into a wedding. If you are a member of the family of the simcha, you don't see the food, you see the simcha.
This is a demonstration.
Not even the
of
chosen kala, you are a
Wirecast.
participant in the simcha itself. Somebody venturing from outside, what does he see? He sees the food. The food is a proof to him that something is happening. But primarily he sees, the basis of all his information is from the food. Or whatever the other manifestations. All from the Chitzeni element.
This is a demonstration
But
of
if you look at
Wirecast.
things from a truth, from its inception, from its root, from the Oyer Sheniver B'im Rishon, then the Chitzenim have no access. In other words, you do not even notice the Chitzein is a manifestation as to what's happening. You don't notice the food in the tables and the waiters. You're aware of the real thing that is happening, of the cause of it all. Everything else falls on doesn't even fall on the wayside. It doesn't even occupy you. Because this oil is misamei in chitzenim. It blinds the eyes of chitzenim. It makes you unaware of all the chitzenim, of all the chitzenim presentations.
This is a demonstration
Because you're
of
involved in
Wirecast.
something real. This is called oil makir. Even though the host and hostess presented food and tables and so forth, but the reality is that they are there behind all of this. And the reason you are here is because of them, not because of all the presentations.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
That type of view, the Chitzonim are blinded by it. I don't know what you're talking about. What's my place there? How do I participate in this? Because Chitzenim are always looking for ways to grab something, but there's nothing to grab.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Ukmoi kein hu benefesh, at the end of the top line. Kufnun ala. Ukmoi kein hu benefesh. The similar union is in the nefesh itself. And we always point out, the nefesh ha'odom is a complete representation of the way of the Elokus in the world. Nasa Odom
This is a
B'Tzalmeinu Kid Musayin.
demonstration of Wirecast.
He is representative, and his likeness on a nefesh level, the inyan of Elokus. The nefesh, the Be'eres Ma'akif in the nefesh, where you have Oiros Ma'akifim. Oiros that emanate directly from the nefesh, and thus
This is
they
a
are in a
demonstration
makif
of Wirecast.
manner. They do not get imbued on a functional level. They continue to be representative of nefesh. Since a representative of nefesh, you are not then concerned, not then asking the question, is this a proper activity or is not? Am I going to gain out of this anything? You are doing that which your nefesh directs you to do.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
And the Rebbe explains in the middle of second line, the Hainu, which would be represented, would occur, Ba'aveda Shelamayla Mitam Vadas. This is called Aveda Shelamayla Mitam Vadas. It's Aveda that does not take into consideration the Tam Vadas. Tam Vadas means, what are you doing? How do you
This
relate
is
to
a
that which you do?
demonstration of Wirecast.
Says, I'm not interested. I have the nefesh itself. I'm acting, I'm functioning at the nefesh level. This Aveda Ma'atim
This is a
Avodas
demonstration of
is
Wirecast.
identifiable at in every phase of life. Like I said before, in terms of damages, the halacha in Rambam, the halachas of damaging, and it's clear that the whole halachas are based on the divine presence in the world. The practical halacha. I dug a ditch
This is a demonstration
in the
of
shoes allowed me in the
Wirecast.
ground. No, I dug a ditch in where the Rebbe allowed me to take a ditch. Beyond that, I'm not responsible. That's the way it is. This is called the Aveda Ramayana Matavadas. Okay, something happened over
This
here. Yeah,
is a
I'm out.
demonstration of
I'll look at
Wirecast.
creating another free conference bridge. This one's not working.
Okay. I don't care if it's free or not, but it should work.
It's also a good feature. Yep.
You have to look
Maybe
for
we should look for someone that's not free and better
How much can it be? $2 a month?
What?
How much can it be? $5 a month?
No, okay, whatever it is. This is free.
It's not that expensive.
It's not expensive, so, but you have to find it.
This
And that
is
has
a
to be reliable.
demonstration
Then
of
you have somebody who's
Wirecast.
free man.